Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome. We're glad you're here for today's webinar, Fueling Discovery, Libraries at the Heart of Learning. I'm Greg Berry, Director of Communications in the Office of Alumni Affairs. A disclaimer, as with any virtual event, occasional technical hiccups may occur. If you experience any audio or video issues, simply click reconnect or refresh your screen to return to the presentation quickly. Now, before we dive in, a quick question. Please take a moment to answer this poll. When you think of your college library days, what comes to mind first? Was it the late night study marathons? Maybe the group projects that weren't really group efforts. We all know about that. Perhaps it's the distractions you're hoping to avoid, or kind of similar to the first one, it could be the caffeine infusion you needed just to stay awake. Go ahead and make your selection. We'll take a look at the results in just a moment. Just a heads up, we are recording today's webinar. Our live audience will get an email once the link is ready, so be expecting that. Today, we're excited to have Kasia Gonnerman joining us. Kasia has served as Dean of UAB Libraries since 2020. Before joining the Blazer family, she was director of Vanderbilt Central Library and led research and instruction at St. Olaf College in Minnesota. Go Olies, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. Minnesota is not very unique in a lot of their names. Tommy's, Johnny's, Olies, and the list goes on and on. Now, before I kick things over to Kasia, I want to go over the poll question one more time. When you think of your college library days, what comes to mind first? I'm going to go ahead and end that. 43% said avoiding distractions or not. 37% said late night study marathons. I'm not surprised at all with those. Thanks for sharing those responses. Another question as we get started, and we'll reveal the answers of these here in a little bit. What do you think is the most important role of libraries in today's world? Kasia will go over this, but these are your options. Supporting lifelong learning, providing access to technology, preserving knowledge and history, building community connections, or if it's something else, go ahead and drop it in the chat. So at this time, Kasia, welcome. The platform's yours.
Thank you so much, Greg. Thank you for the introduction. All right. Well, thank you so much for joining me for this webinar, Fueling Discovery, Libraries at the Heart of Learning. And essentially what I would like to do is tell a story, hopefully a very interesting story, on how UAB libraries are really, truly central to our student success. We really are the hub for student academic activity on campus. And the image here you see was taken at Stern. And this is the place in particular which mostly undergraduate academic, it's mostly an undergrad academic library as opposed to Lister Hill Library, which predominantly caters to medical and professional students. So the vibe is a little different. And you might be surprised to know that in a typical week when school is in session, we enjoy about 22,000 visits on average. So it's a pretty buzzing, busy place. And again, you see at this image that we often really burst in the seams, and there's not an unoccupied seat really inside. And really, this is the way we love it. We like to see it busy, full of good energy, and sometimes, a bit of nervous energy around the final times, which I'm sure you remember from your own academic journey. The library group study rooms at both Stern Library and Lister Hill Library are one of the most popular spaces for students' collaborative work. And a couple of years ago, we managed to refresh and modernize all of our group study rooms. They are all now equipped for technology that allows students to do easy collaborative work. We simply cannot keep with the demand for group study rooms. As you see from this graph here, in academic year 2024, across both libraries, we had over 37,000 bookings of group study rooms. So they are very, very well used. Now, you may know or think that librarians do play an absolutely critical role in student academic success through research instruction and research consultations. The impact really extends well beyond helping students find sources, which I think people fairly often recognize as something that academic librarians bring into play. But I want to say that what librarians do is really extends beyond that. They actually actively shape how students understand assignments, develop questions, and really think critically about information. For example, one of the earliest barriers students frequently face, and maybe this is also your recollection from early academic days at UAB, is really understanding what an assignment is actually asking students to do. Research prompts are often written in disciplinary language. They can feel very abstract and intimidating to students. And librarians essentially help students unpack these prompts and really understand the assignment fully. And because we do not grade student work, we are often seen as absolutely non-threatening and very approachable, which makes students more willing to admit confusion and ask some fundamental questions that they might otherwise really hesitate to raise with their instructors. Librarians are especially effective at helping students move from broad or vague interests to more focused, researchable questions. They teach students how to narrow topics, how to identify gaps in existing research, how to adjust questions based on available evidence, and really truly help students develop critical evaluation skills. They teach students how to assess credibility, bias, authority, relevance across all different types of resources. And those are all very essential skills, not only for the academic work, but also for, informed citizenship in the future. Our instructional program is very robust. As you see from the slide here, in the most recent academic years, library faculty and staff delivered over 1,500 instructional sessions, reaching over 12,000 students. So it's a truly, truly broad reach. And library faculty and staff also field each year thousands of questions, mostly informational queries. Last academic year, they answered close to 16,000 information queries. Most of these occur at the hub desks. As you may recall from your student days, there is one at Stern and one at the Lister Hill Library. And also, a lot of questions get fielded via chat, close to 2,000 information questions, most of them research and reference questions that are answered via online chat. We offer a total of 40 hours per week of live chat staffed by library faculty and staff. And when when the chat is not staffed by a real person, chatbot accepts and answers basic questions and also provides an ability to put in a question that will be usually prompted answered promptly the next morning. Now, this is the quote that I absolutely love, that I heard a senior student from College of Arts and Sciences say to me last year. So now he's joining your ranks of alumni. Librarians save GPS. I just think it's such a self-explanatory and wonderful way to capture the impact that academic librarians really have on our students' success. And it's really not just the academic support that the libraries offer. We really support students holistically. We care about their well-being, about their sense of belonging. Those are the values that are very, very important to us. In 2023, UAB Libraries created a new role of student success librarian who's charged in supporting the whole student beyond traditional academic support. And student success librarian takes a leading role on organizing high impact engagement initiatives like Stern Study Break or Back to School Bash that in the most recent academic year catered to over 2,000 students. And also to support students' relaxation and personal interests and hobbies, we recently established a Library of Things where students can check out absolutely for free some hobby items and relaxation items such as sewing and crocheting kits, games, puzzles, label makers, all kinds of items to provide a little bit of stress relief and much needed relaxation. And all of those items are available for students for free at Stern Library. We are highly attuned to our students' varied needs and really strongly recognizing that some students benefit from dedicated spaces to recharge and refocus and reset and refresh. And to support this, last year, in collaboration with our partners from Disability Support Services, we created a new sensory-friendly room at Stern Library on the third floor. Um, if you have not seen the room yet, it's definitely worth taking a quick tour. For now, we will give you just a very quick virtual glimpse. I'm asking Greg to run a quick virtual tour for us. And as he swings around the room, again on the third floor of Stern Library, you will see that it's really designed to support students with diverse sensory needs. So the space offers a very calming, flexible environment with adaptive lighting, sensory tools, including that compression kayak if you need a full body hug on a day that you are particularly stressed out, and some other mindfulness resources to help students, reset, focus, and thrive. Again, on the third floor of Stern Library, if you are curious. Thank you, Greg. You can exit out of it. Right. And you can tell from these numbers that the sensory room has been used pretty heavily. The word is spreading about its availability. The data points you see on the screen come from spring 2026. You see that the room has been booked 251 times. And as our survey points out, the room really is valued by students. They find it useful and helpful. I like this quote that one of the students included in the survey run at the end of the semester. This is how he or she answered the question, how did the sensory room help you? I had intense anxiety over my grades. The weighted blanket allowed me to zone out and stop worrying about it. I'm much calmer and optimistic about my academic performance. So as you can tell, it really truly makes a real difference to our students. We are also a hub for supporting student technology needs, especially for those students who may not be enrolled in programs such as engineering, for example, programs that offer this type of support for students enrolled in those courses. We now have 4 emerging technology labs. We call them Lib Labs, 2 in Lister Hill Library and 2 in Stern. and we really heavily support students' technology needs. For example, in academic year 24, we completed over 2,500 3D print projects for students. So it's just something that students cannot obtain anywhere else. We also circulate a lot of technology for students for free. In the past academic year, technology was checked out over 16,000 times. And those are really different pieces of equipment, from very standard laptops and mics and chargers to more sophisticated tech pieces for media creation, 3D modeling and printing, VR/XR development, electronic prototypes, all kinds of sophisticated technology. It's not just the free access to technology. It's also important to say that we offer a lot of free workshops and trainings that teach students how to actually use those applications well and efficiently. Technology, as I mentioned, is available to our students at no cost, and that greatly contributes to cost savings. In the fall of 2025, in collaboration with IT, we began loaning long-term laptops. They get checked out for an entire semester, which really made tremendous positive impact on our student success. In spring 2026, as you see on the slide, most laptops were checked out, somewhat surprisingly to us, by graduate students. And when you look at the checkouts by school or college, most of them went to students from the College of Arts and Sciences. And looking at the survey results on long-term laptop use, it's really evident to us that many students simply had no alternatives, which is, again, somewhat surprising, because I think we tend to assume that students come to campus with their own mobile technology, and that turns out not to be always true. As one of the surveyed students stated, I was able to complete all of my work, not shell out hundreds of dollars on a laptop, and not worry about how I'd successfully complete my semester. So again, clearly evidence that the program has been very impactful and positive. We also help students save a significant amount of money through our textbook reserves program. In 24-25 alone, high-cost textbooks on reserve were checked out more than 1,500 times, which I think demonstrates that there is a strong student reliance on this service. We expanded the textbook collections by adding 450 textbooks in the fall of 2025. And the coverage now extends to all 100 and 200 level courses, ensuring really good broad access to essential course materials early in students' academic career. And as you see on this graph here on this slide, most textbooks on reserve in spring 2026 were checked out in biology, engineering, and chemistry. And I think this is not a coincidence, considering a sometimes prohibitive cost of textbooks, especially in STEM disciplines. Now, a little known fact is that the libraries are one of the largest student employers on campus. Our student assistants logged more than 38,000 hours in the most recent academic year. And those jobs, I think, often give students not only flexible schedules, but also meaningful work experience and some professional skills that can directly support career readiness in the future. We also offer students exciting internship opportunities. Historical collections division in particular is always hotly sought after for internship opportunities. And we also engage in very rewarding and exciting projects with students. For example, recently librarians from historical collections and research and instruction teams collaborated with the director of engineering design and undergraduate engineering students to restore a Chandler and Price printing press, which was originally built in 1885 and exhibited at Stern Library. The press wasn't fully functional and lacked several parts, and the engineering design students worked to find some form of replacement that would make the press fully functional again. What you see here, and it's actually, there was a live GIF, it doesn't seem to be playing on this slide, which is okay. When you access the slides later, you will play for you, I believe. So what you see here is a couple of students from this specific engineering project demonstrating how the press is operating now. Which is wonderful because we'll be able to use the press for workshops, possibly some classes like history of the book. It's a very fascinating project, and if any of you would like to glean more details, I'll be happy to connect you directly to the librarians who took a lead on this specific project. And I think another little known fact is that we make our students successful through working with them and some faculty to digitize and digitally preserve student publications. What you see on this slide is some titles of student journals the libraries have digitized and preserved. And also, really equally importantly, we make those journals and other student publications discoverable globally through depositing those publications in the UAB Digital Commons, which is the new institutional repository we established in 2023. And this avenue really significantly enhances the discoverability of those students' publications. You see on this slide that they have been so far downloaded globally over 318,000 times. So that's a very significant number demonstrating the high use of those materials. And really, when I say globally, I mean truly worldwide. What you see here is a map of downloads, which really illustrates the global reach of those student publications. I just took this screenshot a couple of days ago for this presentation, but you know, it changes daily and the numbers keep growing. And I think it's very exciting to see the really vast, broad accessibility and discoverability of our student publications. I want to talk just a little bit about the impact we have on the future Blazers through working with K through 12 students and educators in the Birmingham area schools. We host K through 12 students and teachers to introduce them to academic research, typically boost their academic preparedness, and also allow them to use some research and other resources that are simply not available in their local Birmingham community schools. And beyond that, we offer our students, as well as Birmingham students and also just Birmingham community in general, an experience of interacting with our rare historical collections that are housed in the 3 branches of Historical Collections Division: Reynolds Finney Historical Library, Alabama Museum of the Health Sciences, and university archives. And this is where students get to work directly with primary sources and real artifacts. And that creates a very interesting, unique, immersive, experiential learning opportunity that's really hard to find anywhere else. So that's just a unique opportunity for students to experience something um, of a historical nature firsthand. And also you as alumni have access to this treasure trove of primary source materials by making an appointment. I did include a brief recording here to entice you. It's just a brief recording, a presentation done by Peggy Balch, our Reynolds Finney Historical Library curator, who is introducing the newest acquisition in Reynolds Finney. It's our 32nd incunabulum, orally printed book. We cannot play it here for you, but when you receive slides from Greg, please play it, because it's an amazing acquisition that I think will impress you and entice you to also make an appointment and come visit the historical collections in person. So we host lots and lots of our students, as well as community students and other community members at the newly established Dennis G. Papas Historical Collections Gallery, which was founded in 2024. The gallery in its inaugural year already hosted 46 tours and saw over 1,700 visitors. And if you haven't visited the gallery yet, I would really encourage you to do so. It's open to the public. We have tour guides to provide a phenomenal experience for you. So again, on the second floor of Lister Hill Library, if you would like to come and take a tour and take a look, that would be phenomenal. For now, I want to offer just a quick virtual glimpse into the current exhibit, which is called The Health in the Time of Marcel Proust. And Greg will drive this virtual exhibit for us a little bit. So as you look around, you'll see it's just a beautiful exhibit exploring developments in health and medicine and really dramatic societal changes at the Belle Epoque, at that period, from the late 19th century to early 20th century. It's a very interdisciplinary exhibit showcasing medical devices, some unique literature, other historical materials. Greg is going to show you some of the interactive elements, which again are very strong in this exhibit, where you can take a look at the representative clothing from that era and really get a wonderful feel and sense of the Belle Epoque and the revolutionary changes that occurred in medicine and public health and literature as well. Thank you, Greg, for driving this. And this essentially covers the highlights that I had for you. I flew through them pretty quickly, but on the upside, this will hopefully give us some more time for questions, right, Greg? If people are curious to explore any of those highlights in more detail, or if you have any questions that you would like me to address, I'm all yours now.
Yeah, please drop them. Any questions you may have in the chat. We have a Q&A function as well as just the chat, and we'll be monitoring both of those. So let's look at good old-fashioned books. How do you get them at the new libraries? Because it's a different setup. Dewey Decimal, I know, is not higher ed. It's different, but can people still go and check out good old-fashioned books?
Absolutely. We still have good old-fashioned books, several hundred of those. And, it's interesting that I think there is this a bit of misconception that sources have completely transitioned to online access. You have ebooks, you have other online equivalents, but in some of disciplines, especially in the humanities and humanistic social sciences, the book really still is the king, and you want your paper copy and browsing the shelves for full and rewarding discovery, and this kind of a serendipitous discovery, by browsing the shelves. Not everything is accessible digitally. I used to teach Old English and Middle English literature. And I would always send my students to the stacks to browse the area with that particular topic, because you essentially have to look at the index to find a literary criticism piece on your specific poem, because none of that has been really indexed in, let's say, MLA database as thoroughly yet. So there's always that opportunity for serendipitous discovery, and there is just this really nice tactile pleasure of, holding a book and reading. So that is absolutely not going away.
You have some exciting things going on over at the library over the next, 18 months or so. Talk about what's happening and how it's going to reshape, especially Stern Library, because that's where a bulk of the project's going to be.
Yes, so we are looking forward to a very serious revamping of Stern Library, and I'm very excited to see that come to fruition, because, as you know, this place needs some love. It's so heavily used. Again, we see 22,000 students in a week. And we need more space for our students. We need more group study rooms. We cannot meet that demand. So that's part of the renovation project, we hope, that will provide us with more space for students, more seating space, more space for collaborative work, more group study rooms. This is really, really very, very badly needed at the moment. The project is also aiming to really refresh the whole facade of the library. And, for those of you who travel around different campuses, you know that the libraries are often the highlights of campus. They are the gems, attracting students and playing a big role in retention and recruitment. So my hope is that the large-scale renovation project is going to provide that for us. I think, having taken a look at some preliminary architectural plans, the space is going to be beautiful. It's going to be full of light. It's going to be airy. We're going to gain some space, which again is very, very badly needed. There is a plan for some of landscaping and hardscaping around the libraries. And I think, this is something that's important as well, just even for students' well-being and mental health. And UAB being a very health-conscious university, I think definitely pays attention to providing other avenues for students to just really relax and enjoy the space. The renovation will obviously come with huge disruptions. So we are preparing very thoroughly our communications plans to make sure that it's going to be as smooth as possible for our students. We will still be open at all times, but we'll have to be just very careful about staging different phases of the project and making sure that everyone is safe and finds the space, suitable for academic work and studying. So it's super, super exciting.
So is there a charge to long-term loan of the laptops?
No, absolutely not. No. We received laptops from IT in 2025. They had the whole cohort of COVID laptops, which now had to be retired. And then we are gaining another suite of laptops, again, in collaboration with IT and also the School of Nursing. Will be able to provide students with semester-long laptop loans of 180 laptops. So that's huge. That's really impactful. Again, I think often you encounter that misperception that every single student comes to campus technologically prepared, having the equipment that they need, and we see that this is simply not the case. So that's very close to our heart, very much on our minds, because sometimes it really is a make it or break it piece for student success in finishing the coursework and finishing a semester successfully.
Take out your crystal ball for a second. What do you see as the biggest opportunities or challenges for academic libraries over the next 5, 10, 15 years? Because I'm sure you and your team have talked about this.
We talk about it all the time. I think both a challenge and an opportunity is AI. Obviously, the hot topic for everyone. It has opened up some very interesting opportunities for us for internal library work, metadata production, streamlining workflows, and our librarians are absolutely on top of that and taking advantage. Um, for the challenges with that, I mean, I'm sure you and everybody else has thought about it a lot. It's just using the tools intelligently and in a way that is not compromising your research. You cannot just be naive and blindly apply a tool without understanding the drawbacks and consequences. And that creates an opportunity for us to teach students how to use those tools responsibly and ethically and efficiently. This is, at the time, for the time being, a bit of a wild west. You have a slew of tools popping up, they grab people's attention. And I see us as just being in this great spot where we are used to evaluating tools. We are used to teaching students how to use them effectively. We know how to recommend technology to fit a particular academic or research purpose. So I think that situates us really beautifully to help students discern what is and is not helpful, and just kind of think critically about using those tools.
So what opportunities are there for alumni to stay connected with the library, such as events, workshops, lifelong learning programs, opportunities like that?
Absolutely. So all our events are open to the public. Our gates are open to the public. We always encourage and invite community members. We recently introduced a community card program, and we saw about 5,000 community members visit the libraries. Alumni have access to all of our materials. They are always welcome, and they can check materials out, take them with them, just like they were able to do when they were students. They can access all of our electronic resources. You know, we have subscriptions to over 700 research databases. Those have to be accessed on campus. And this is not the library policy. This is simply the licensing law that prevents us from allowing alumni to access, and anybody else really, access research databases outside of campus. We are always on the lookout to provide some opportunities for the alumni to be able to access some databases. We've been actually having some conversations with the National Alumni Society on making it possible. So in any way we can, we will just support them always. You know, we try to advertise our events as broadly as we can. Maybe that's an opportunity to work closely with the National Alumni Society, with you guys, Maybe you can incorporate some of that exciting information in your newsletters and brochures and the mailings that go to the alumni. But we are always open, always welcoming our alumni. They have access to research and reference help, access to our materials, and we just love to see them back on campus anytime.
So do you have, at one point you did virtual reality courses. Do you still teach?
Yes, we do. Yeah, as I mentioned when I was going through the slides, we offer not only the technology for free checkouts, but also teach students and faculty and staff how to use technology to the best of their application. We run workshops on VR, Firefly workshops are very popular. And also, if people can think of something that they would benefit from, I'm sure we can cater or curate a workshop to meet that need. We also have a VR lab at Lister Hill Library that is frequented by students mostly in medical disciplines. We do have some software that just makes it a little easier for students to learn anatomy, and in a way that really kind of goes beyond a textbook and an image. So those opportunities are always there as well.
If alumni have the need, they have the desire to come visit y'all at the libraries, do they just come knock on the door? How do they get access?
Don't even have to knock. They just, they come in. So as you know, for safety reasons, because we are an urban campus, you need to swipe the card after hours, right? So alumni who do not have cards, I understand, is that correct? Can still get in. All they need to do is push on the blue ring button outside, and somebody at the hub desk will obviously let them in and provide any assistance that is needed. The more, the merrier. They're always welcome.
And last question I have, and then I'll let you go. How can alumni contribute to the library?
In many, many ways. Many of you have expertise that we would love to partner with. We are always seeking funding opportunities. We are a very lean operation. We are here to serve students. We are all about student success. And if there are some opportunities to boost any of the programs, enrich student experience, provide something that will benefit our students, we would be thrilled to be presented with those opportunities. So a wide gamut of opportunities, from tapping into people's expertise to maybe getting some financial support, which is always terrific, right? So if you're interested in exploring some opportunities, just let me know and we'll sit down and talk through some options that would be exciting for everyone.
There's a lot of wealth of information in the chat that your team has been doing.
Yes,
That's
sure.
fantastic. Kasia, thanks for taking the time to be with us today.
It was my pleasure, Greg, and thank you for attending, all of you, for taking the time to be with me over lunch hour. Thank you.
A quick note to today's audience, this webinar was recorded. Once it's uploaded onto our website, you'll get an email with the link so you can revisit the session and share it with others. As for the next 4 webinars on tap for you, join us for the following. On May 21st, come back for Stronger This Summer, Nutrition, Exercise, and Safety. During this one, get a practical tips for eating smart, moving safely, and avoiding heat-related injuries. On May 28th, we'll host Intermittent Fasting and Meal Timing. Does when you eat matter? This webinar will highlight how meal timing can influence overall health and daily well-being. And on June 9th, make sure you're getting the most out of your legacy during Your Estate, Your Legacy, Key Decisions That Matter. And on July 28th, we'll start a series on artificial intelligence during Everyday AI, Smart Tools for Work and Life. Register for these and more by visiting alumni.uab.edu/events. As we wrap up, we'd love to hear from you. Your feedback helps us improve and shape future webinar topics. Just scan the QR code on your screen to access a brief survey and share your thoughts. Once again, thanks so much for joining us. And as always, go Blazers.